In this video, I'll teach you how to create ad hoc reports using ZenWorks Reporting. The use case here is you've got ZenWorks Reporting installed and you now wish to use it to create chart reports against an endpoint management product. In our demos today, we'll be looking at the Service Desk product and the Micro Focus Desktop Containers product as we build our reports. The requirements for this is that ZenWorks Reporting Server has to have been installed. There's a video that covers how to deploy the ZenWorks Reporting appliance and do the initial configuration. So those steps have to have been done. And you have to be able to connect from ZenWorks Reporting to the database server hosting the endpoint management data. Also, the ZenWorks Reporting domain for the endpoint management product you wish to report against has to have been imported. Today I have 3 of them. I have the ZenWorks one, I have the Service Desk one, and I have the Micro Focus Desktop Containers. And you have to be a member of a group that provides access to ZenWorks Reporting. So to do this, you're going to go ahead and log into the ZenWorks Reporting console. You're going to select Create an Ad Hoc Report. You're going to select the fields and measures that you want to have in your report. You'll then customize the data on the chart and the format of the actual chart itself. You'll save the ad hoc view, and then at that point you can generate a report if you need to. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this works in the real world. What I have here is my ZenWorks Reporting console. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with my Active Directory credentials. And then I can come in here and I can say I want to create an ad hoc view. I can then select what I want to report against. To do that, I go to the Domains tab and I select the appropriate domain. Right now I'm going to go ahead and start with the Zav server usage domain. This is for Micro Focus Desktop Containers. I can then choose the data, and you'll see a set of data that I can pull in. I'm going to go ahead and pull it all in for right now so that you can see some of the things we can do. And then I can select the type of chart or type of report that I want to build. So you can see there are 3 main types. There's a table, a chart, and a crosstab. We're doing charts today. So I'll bring up the chart, and you'll see on here I have the fields and measures, and so now I can begin to do my reporting. The measures are the things that you're going to count. So in your graphs, they're the things that are going to determine how big your pie slice is, how long your bars are, that kind of thing. So we'll start with a very simple report. We're going to count the number of sessions per application. So we'll add the session count. You can see I've had apparently 86 launches of containerized applications in my environment. And then if we wanted to take a look at how that breaks down by application, we'd go ahead and add that to the rows. So now I've got the display name in there. And then over here you have the data level that allows you to drill in. So here, looks like my most used application is Firefox for ZenWorks 11.4.1. Followed by 7-Zip, and then Notepad++ and FileZilla. Now I can change the way that this shows up. I could come in here, for instance, and say I want the chart type to be a horizontal bar instead of a vertical bar. This is good for looking at a large number of different counts. If you just had a few of these things, you might want to look at it as a pie chart. Do that, you can see it now comes in as a pie. In this case, I think we'll keep it as our column chart. So I could then save this. We'll call this the application launches per app. And I could now save that as an ad hoc view. Ad hoc views can be used by people like yourself who are designing things. Or I can also create this as a report that will be something I can share with other people. So right now I'll go ahead and say save the ad hoc view and the report. I'll just go ahead and save them both in the reports folder. We'll call this app launches by app. And we'll call this the same thing, but add report to it. And we'll save that in the reports. You can also generate the report with a template. So there will be more information on this in a future video. that talks about how you can actually generate those templates, and then when you apply that template, the formatting like the headers and the footers, the logo you might put on there would then show up. So we'll go ahead and save this, and we've now created our very first ad hoc chart. Now I could go in here and make some additional changes. So you can see under the chart format, for instance, I can say how many data points do I want to show. I can show the measure name on the value axis, so in this case the session account. I can show the number of steps on either the X or the Y axis, and I can rotate these. In the upcoming 6.2.1 version of ZenWorks Reporting, you'll actually have quite a bit more control over formatting around things like colors, those types of things. Now, another kind of common chart you might see would be a time chart. So we'll go ahead and create one of those. We'll go ahead and use the service desk domain for this. And this has a few more fields in it. We're going to go ahead and bring in the configuration, the items data. And again, we'll create a chart. And what I want to look at now is the number of incidents opened over time. So to do that, we'll start by looking at some request dates and timers. So you have the date when it was reported. And then we'll want to count the number of requests. So we'll add that. And you'll see there's one way to look at the data as a graph, as a bar chart. Typically, most people prefer to look at time over a line chart. And so you can see here, I can actually flip this, and there's my line chart. So I had 2 opened on June 20th, and then 1 on the 22nd. Now, you may not care about every day. You may be looking for, say, a monthly trend. So one of the things that ZenWorks Reporting allows you to do is change the grouping. So you can right-click the date reported here, and you can see there's this change reporting. Right now it's reporting or grouping by day. I can go ahead and I can say, well, I'd like to look at that by month. And now that's what the chart looks like. And so depending on the level of granularity that you need to report on, you can go ahead and do that. So I could go ahead here, change the grouping back to day. The other thing you could do here is add additional data. So for instance, maybe I want to know the number of requests that were opened, but I want to add some information about what kind of request was it. Was it a service request? Was it an incident request? What kind of thing was that? So we'll go ahead and add that to the columns. And you'll notice I get another data level slider here. And if I drill in on that, then you'll see I now get a slightly different chart where it looks like the red bar here is service requests. So not very many service requests, quite a few incidents, and only 1 real change request in the mix. That allows you to kind of see how things are going over time. You could then maybe look at this data slightly differently if you wanted to. Another way to look at this data could be by crosstab. So you can easily take that data and put it in a crosstab, and you'll see the data there. This might be something you'd put in a report. And again, you might change the date reported grouping here to something like by month. And then you'll get your table that shows you how many things were opened each month. So what you saw here was how to build a basic chart with ZenWorks Reporting. You saw that it can be used against multiple pieces in the portfolio. We used it against the desktop containers and the service desk components. It also obviously supports the ZenWorks pieces. You can then actually take and save these charts, and you could send them out to people. You could schedule them to run on a regular basis, or you can make them part of a dashboard. There are videos covering how you would do each one of those things in the future. Hopefully you found this useful, and we'll talk to you in the next video.